Hi everyone, Papa here,
And Kay and Kai.
and today's Chef Papa episode is going to feature highlights of our dinner meals during our annual camping trip this year in Allegheny State Park, New York. This year our camping trip lasted for 8 nights, so we had 8 dinner meals. On day 1 we had lunch meat sandwiches and chips. Day 2 we ate at the Red House restaurant. Day 3 we had hot dogs and hamburgers and sides. Day 4, we had lunch meat sandwiches and chips again. Same on day 5, lunch meat sandwiches and chips. On day 6, we had Spanish rice with chicken and steak. On day 7, we had pie iron pizzas and dessert pies. On day 8, we had pizza and wings. And on day 9, not a dinner meal since we broke camp before lunch, but for lunch, we stopped at Tony's Tasty Freeze before we left the area. So now let's take a look at some of those meals we had during the week while we were camping. Starting with day 3, when we had hot dogs and hamburgers and sides for dinner. Typically, I like to get the coals nice and hot so we don't have any active flame when we're cooking over the open fire like this. But in this case, we were so busy throughout the day, we didn't have enough time to start the fire far enough in advance of dinner. Here I am using a little Zippo handheld fan to flame the wood to turn it more into charcoal, hot coals. And as you can see, the hamburgers are grilling up nicely. At least where the highest heat is. Those 3 on the right are on a lower heat part of the fire. One of the burgers broke in half when I was putting it on the grill. There you see as I flip them that they're charring up nicely. Getting some good open flame cooking going on these hamburgers. And typically for our meals we have lunch meat sandwiches on the day of arrival because that's the travel day and the camp setup day, and rather than trying to get a fire going far enough in advance, we don't worry about having anything we have to cook over the fire. So that's what we did on day 1. Then on day 2 we typically would start cooking over the open fire for dinner. But because of the rain and other factors, we went to the Red House restaurant for dinner, which is in the Red House administration building. They have a nice dinner menu, so we ate dinner there. Actually got the meal at the restaurant and then took it out on the front of the Red House patio so we could eat and look at the scenery, the lake, and the other area around us. So that was day 1 and day 2 dinners. So this we're looking at now is our day 3 dinner, which was the first night that we cooked dinner over the campfire during this camping trip. We already posted a video on our channel about our overall camping trip, along with other videos showing some other highlights of activities during our week of camping. So if you haven't watched those videos, I encourage you to do so. You get a better understanding of some of the references that I'm throwing out, such as the ad building and the lake. So here the hamburgers are just about done. Those ones on the right need a little bit more time. We'll move on now to take a look at the hot dogs that were also part of the day 3 dinner menu. Since I had a few pieces of wood handy that I had not yet put on the fire, I decided to use those as the left and right barriers, especially since on this grill sometimes items like hot dogs have a tendency to roll off. And it was on a little bit of an angle, so you can see I'm using them. Now I'm flicking off a piece of ash that had gotten on one hot dog. But using those pieces of wood as the left and right limits worked out well. Once again, the flame and the heat is hotter on the left side of the grill. So you see those hot dogs are cooking a little faster, but I'm keeping them moving so that they don't burn on any one side, trying to get an even cook going on all of these hot dogs. Moving the ones that are nearly done or already done to the front, getting them to the front right out of the highest heat so that they don't overcook or burn. That allowed me to roll the others down a little bit further, but I want to keep these ones on the front moving as well. At this point, the hamburgers were already done and ready to eat, so we just needed to cook the hot dogs. Meanwhile, other family members were preparing the sides, the plates, the utensils, the drinks, getting everything else ready. And so once these hot dogs finished, we were able to put the meal together, finish it off. So the hot dogs now are just about ready to start coming off the grill. I'll start taking them off in just a minute and getting them plated. Just need to get a few more of these a little bit more cooked. Now it's time to grab the plate so that I can start getting the hot dogs off the grill. I put the plate on a relatively flat and stable rock.
Would you like me to hold the plate?
No, thank you. Still, it was nice of Grandma to offer to hold the plate, but I didn't feel it was necessary. Pulling the first 5 hot dogs off the grill now. Those ones were definitely done. Giving the other 5 another minute to finish the cooking process. Getting them rolled from side to side, keeping them moving again so they don't burn. Making sure they're ready to go. And we just need to get these last 4 hot dogs finished so we can begin our dinner meal. Down to 3 now. They're just about done. They're heating up nicely. That one's definitely done. Now the final 2. Those 2 are just about done. It's almost time to pull them off.
Like my hot dog roller. Like a 7-Eleven hot dog roller.
Set it down next to it. Oh, right. I've seen those. It was at 7-Eleven, but...
Was having a side conversation with Grandma there about the hot dog rolling, and now all of the hot dogs are off the grill. It's time to eat our dinner. Here we are, seated at the table inside the dining tent. Here's Caden Kai getting ready to eat his hot dog. Mommy making her hamburger. Mima enjoying some water. Grandma has her hamburger in hand. And there I am getting ready to eat my hamburger as well. Moving over to the kitchen tent, you see some of the other sides. We had macaroni salad, potato salad. You can also see here all of the buns and the lettuce and other toppings for the hot dogs and hamburgers. That made for an all-around good meal. Now we'll move forward to a few nights later when we had lunch meat sandwiches and chips, along with some of the other sides that we still had available. Even though we couldn't grill that night because of weather, I believe everyone was still satisfied with the meal. Caden Kai and his cousins had finished eating, so you can hear them playing in the background. A few nights later, we were able to have a campfire that we could cook over, and we had our traditional pie iron pizzas and dessert pies. Here's a set of pizzas coming out of the pie iron, golden brown and cooked to perfection. After I plate them, let's watch the process from the beginning. The first step is to spray the pie irons with a non-stick cooking spray. In this case, since I already had some pizzas on, a little overflow of the cheese that I'm scraping off there. Then I'll give them a liberal spraying. I want the bread to stick to the iron. Heading now into the food prep tent area to get the next set of pies ready to go. Other family members had already pre-buttered some bread, so I had a pile of bread ready to go.
I said liberal. We could have done the last of it, okay?
The pie iron is hot, so I'm being careful not to touch it. Didn't want to burn myself. You hear the butter already starting to sizzle. The bread's already starting to cook. Getting some pizza sauce added now. Spreading it around with a spoon. Time to add the mozzarella cheese. And if these were going to be pepperoni pizzas, the next step would be to add some pepperoni. I typically put 4 slices on. You see I started 2 there, but then realized the next set we need is a set of cheese pizzas. So that's all we needed on these 2, adding the top layer of bread. It's important to remember to keep the butter side out. So for the bottom layer it faces down, and for the top layer it faces up. That way your buttered side is touching the pie iron. Getting ready now to put the other side on. Get it closed off. I'm going to try to get the bread fully contained within the pie iron, but if any is sticking out, I typically use a plastic knife to scrape it off into the fire so we don't end up with burnt edges. Then it's just a matter of flipping it regularly and checking it often.
How's dinner?
He inhaled it.
Good, hello.
I know.
You want another one? Yes, you may have another one.
Like
Hello.
That was a nice shot of everyone around the campfire. And here's Kate and Kai's cousin Wesley enjoying his cheese pizza. And his cousin Jackson as well.
Making a...
Now moving on, after we had our pie iron pizzas for dinner, we made dessert pies using the same process. Buttered slices of bread down. Put either apple or cherry pie filling on the bread. Then cover with a couple of pieces of bread, butter side up. And make enough pies for everyone to enjoy and cap off their meal. Now it's time to look at another meal. This was a lunch meal where everyone made sandwiches. We've been focusing on dinner meals in this video, but Kate and Kai, you made such an impressive sandwich that day that I wanted to highlight that sandwich as you take a bite out of it, surrounded by Jackson and Wesley and their sister and their mommy and daddy. In the other tent, Grandma, Mima, and Mommy were enjoying their own sandwiches. Our traditional final night of camping dinner is pizza and wings. This year we had excellent food from Tim and Bonnie's Pizza. We also traditionally eat at least one lunch at Tony's Tasty Freeze in nearby Salamanca, New York. This year we didn't get a chance to go there until our final day. We had already broken camp. And on our way out of town, we stopped for lunch and ice cream. Here you see family members enjoying their meal. We can always count on Tony's to provide excellent food at a very reasonable price. Here's Kate and Kai enjoying his lunch meal that day. All of that food on the tray wasn't his. That was food for several family members. There's Mommy, and in the background, Wesley and Jackson's mommy. And here's another shot of the family enjoying their ice cream now. And here are Kate and Kai's grandma and aunt and uncle as everyone else hit the road for home.
Thanks for watching.
Please subscribe to our channel and like our videos.